Hey, she's really gone or what?
Thank God. I thought everyone had just frozen again.
Mine says Kalpesh is the host.
What?
See, he doesn't know.
It doesn't matter, na. She can't get back in.
What?
You're sure, right?
Sort of.
Too cool, yeah. How do you do that?
What?
You think that's cool? See Sanjana.
She's just sitting there.
What's your problem?
There's a problem with your internet, Sanjana. You're not moving.
Yeah, that's what's happening.
Come on, Sanjana.
Do you mind?
What? She's made a background of herself listening?
What?
Dude!
You're like that all the time or what?
Naisha, I'll show you how to do it properly.
You should have told us. Can't just figure something out and not tell us. That's not fair.
So why didn't you tell Miss?
Okay, it's not that unfair. See now,
What?
you're always like that.
No, yeah, you can't be. It's actually a lot of work. Too much.
What?
Means? You put it on bus, na?
No, yeah, I have to be here anyway.
But you can lie down and sleep and stuff.
But we already do that.
You can read stuff.
You're not on your laptop or what?
Parents are supposed to check.
My mom has really had it with me being at home.
I don't think it's just us, as in the kids not being in school.
No, everyone. It might have been a little better if it wasn't work from home.
Yeah, with everyone here.
It's a lot on mom.
Not dads, not really.
Some dads.
Not very many. No?
One sec. She didn't say symposium on dads.
Well, you'd say that.
What does that mean?
You're a boy. You'll be a dad. Hopefully not, but there's always a danger.
Yeah. And you're a background cheater.
I don't know if she's a background cheater. Seemed pretty front and center to me.
What are you saying? She's like a successful businessman.
What are the other cheating strategies?
You wait. You think your secrets are safe?
Oh yeah? What do you know?
Would I tell you?
Say na.
Wait. I'll tell you when I am ready. When she's not expecting it at all.
I challenge you.
You're already too late.
If I do this background thing, I'm not saying I will,
No, of course not.
but if I did, what do I need to worry about?
Everything has to be the same. The light, the door, the bed. And then idiots like Naisha will tell the whole world
Everything?
everything.
That sounds like a lot of work.
Buddy, it's time travel.
What rubbish!
No one ever said time travel was easy.
You've been watching way too much Netflix.
What?
You're somewhere else and you need to come back where you're supposed to be. Like that. That's time travel.
It's the same time.
But not the same location, no, because I'm in two places at once. So I have to match the location. I wish it wasn't for civics, though.
What could you do it for?
Shakespeare?
What's the point? The way Kalpesh is reading Merchant, I feel like I'm going backwards in time.
Oh yeah? You're lucky. I feel like I'm growing older.
What else? Maths? Anyways, I'm struggling. If I'm somewhere else, who'll understand quadratic equations? It'll be like square roots all over again.
Too soon, yeah.
It wasn't my fault, okay? I didn't tell.
What's going on?
Aditya used to let Dishita copy his maths homework.
Big deal.
Yeah, but he used to keep writing hence proven after every solution,
So,
Apparently, proven is not an English word.
which I didn't know.
how did Kalpesh know?
I also copied his homework.
Hey Aditya, you were running a business or what?
He used to give me lunch.
So you were running a business.
Technically, that's a barter.
Not when you're whacking non-veg from 6 people every day.
You shut up.
Also, I know she's not on the call, but we shouldn't be talking about
Why is everyone being so weird?
I'll tell you, but not now.
We were very careful, Made sure we got enough wrong answers that Mangalamas wouldn't suspect. Even if they are right, we copied some wrong.
You had to make it look right.
Yeah, all that work, how difficult it is to know the answer and then work backwards so that you can make it look like there's a reason, like a real silly mistake that it was wrong.
Time travel.
You can't just apply to everything, yeah?
Doesn't sound like time travel to you? Working backwards from the right answer to something completely wrong, but to make it look right?
It's just copying, done right.
It's magic. You're just too stupid to see it.
And we had to work it back. Obviously, Aditya would get most of them right. Then we made mistakes according to what our scheduled test marks were, like what we'd get wrong.
That's a lot of work.
In the bus also.
Except everyone just kept writing hence proven.
So we all got caught, like 34 students or something.
Yeah, me too.
Lots of trouble. Parent teacher emergency meetings. There was a lot of standing outside that week. And someone had to stand guard so that we didn't get caught.
It was kind of fun, actually.
Yeah, but we never figured out who told.
Someone told?
Mangla Miss just said it once to Mrs. Roy. They didn't see me, but she said there were so many people who kept writing hence proven that I was going to speak to the English teacher. And then one child came and told me everyone's copying.
Who?
Never found out. It's not like we can ask her. She retired last year now.
Someone tattled?
That's what it seems like.
What the hell?
That's not nice.
Chal, I'm off. It's getting all very emotional.
Hang on. What about what we all hung around to talk about?
What? Time travel?
Letters, stupid.
Every day is going to be something different or what?
How are we supposed to supervise the other classes?
How difficult can it be? Show up, let them do their thing.
This is like Teacher's Day all over again.
Please. Last time, you were answering the phones and thought you were working at the Marriott.
Just because I speak correctly on the phone.
You do the thing, the fake Instagram American accent all foo.
Whose mother was so worried that she almost called the cops?
Ari, she called to ask about when they should come to pick us up. And then the champion here is all like, welcome to JML, how may I help you? And hold a moment, I'll just put through your request and call you back.
And she thought someone had taken over the school.
You know, when my brother was in school,
Which?
not important. Also, I can't say.
Yeah?
She's gone now. She can't just come back.
Kalpesh is the host again.
What?
But sometimes there's a setting. When the host comes back, they're automatically made the host again.
Will you just tell us?
Someone in his year was worried about a scheduled test. So they tried to fake a bomb scare.
That's really stupid.
But would you do it?
No.
Hey, come on now, it's just us here.
About the most I ever did was pray to God to put the Mississippi River in Africa.
It's getting difficult though with all of this coordination between parents and teachers.
Mobile phones finished us.
Copying.
Yeah, but we talked about that. Everyone copies.
Hey!
I mean, yeah, obviously apart from the people we are copying from, like that's logical.
But a bomb threat? I don't know.
It doesn't seem fair, but maybe it was fairer when your brother did it.
They were really unpleasant, mostly trying to outdo each other. At least that's what I remember. I was much younger.
I've got a sister who probably thinks that way now.
You're an only kid right now. You're probably happy.
Are you?
When was the last time you were out of the house?
Does Nature's Basket count?
It looks so close now. December, Jan, another couple of months and
Yeah, like a dream, one that you leave behind.
My mom was telling someone yesterday, some friend of hers she hadn't talked to in years in the US, that she still has 3 seconds every day when she goes to the balcony and just looks at it because it feels like a film.
Does she?
She goes to the balcony every day for sure. and then messages the local group about people parked on the pavement.
Oh, yeah. I have the who isn't wearing a mask game. I went full Dhoni at some college kid in Starbucks. Does this look like 6 feet to you? Does this look like 6 feet to you?
Wow.
Ari, there was a huge line.
In Starbucks?
The one near Horniman Circle. It's nice. Well, it could be.
You went like randomly?
No. I went with my mother. She went to Xavier's College and she was all like, I'll show you what planned open space looks like.
Don't you live in Bandstand?
Please, have you seen it? It's Lego with concrete. They took out everything and put in a lot of grey. It's stupid. Carter Road is much better.
Yeah, but you get yelled at a lot more. Either people are trying to hide or they're doing photo shoots.
There's two guys who just hang around for those shoots. They wait until they're just about finished and then just show up and say, you have to pay a fine for not having a mask.
You're supposed to be wearing a mask.
No, I agree we should all be wearing a mask. But these police are waiting to trap someone. That's like waiting for someone to take a sip of water and then saying hello. Meanwhile, they sit around without masks all the time.
You kind of get where the teachers are coming from, no? When they're trying to get us to do something.
There's a difference between standing in line and not socially distancing.
This is all very complicated.
What does this have to do with Horniman Circle?
Oh yeah, my mother was like, let me take you there on a Sunday. We bought coffee.
Not allowed coffee?
Only on Sundays. We bought coffee and then sat in the garden.
Nice?
Nice. Really nice. For a bit. But also stupid. Fat guys in shorts and loud cars showing off. Ad shoots so you can't park in half the lanes. And those people with the walkie-talkies.
You mean assistant directors?
Whatever. They are damn rude. Hundreds of people in the store.
Hundreds?
She always exaggerates, but she paints a really good picture.
And then, after a while in the garden, you start seeing the piles of rubbish, then the smell, and then on the town hall steps, photo shoots. So I yelled at some of the people because they wouldn't wear masks. And then we left.
So much for open spaces.
It could be pretty.
Haven't we heard that before?
Hey, I'm really not ready for one of those lectures on potential again.
Have you ever driven past Marine Drive on a Sunday before?
It's madness.
Yeah, that's because they don't have anywhere to go. Marine Drive Chowpatty.
Who's they?
Are they people who go to Marine Drive on Sundays?
Don't make it sound like that.
Yeah, what's the big deal? We still go there sometimes.
You don't understand. It's like you go there because you feel like it. It's different when there's nowhere else to go on a Sunday.
Are you guys just trying not to say poor?
That's not right. They're not poor.
So who are poor when you say it like that?
We saw them last year trying to get home.
They weren't all poor.
It's not about money. It's about
choice, I think.
Would you walk home 1,000 kilometers if you had a choice?
Some were just scared.
Yeah, and that makes it better, does it?
my building watchman, his whole family.
Walked?
A lot of the way. Bus, walk, a couple of trucks.
Why?
They didn't think they were safe here.
In Bombay?
I asked. When they came to collect some money, something like people like them can't fall sick in Bombay.
That's
not nice.
He has a little daughter, about 10. My mom keeps trying to get her to read, gives her all of her old textbooks. They took her with them. She just got back in February and then they went running back.
Are they okay?
He got very thin and seems angry all the time. I'm gonna write her a letter.
I don't know what to say.
Most of it is just words.
Thanks. So, when are you applying for your PhD in stating the obvious?
No, I meant it's It's about the number of words and the structure. Like, how is it more important than what it is?
This is this process thing that they keep talking about in cricket.
You know what TOEFL is?
Test of English as a foreign language.
It used to be more fun asking that question.
You ask people if they know what TOEFL is?
No, any question. Now it's just people Google it as you ask it to them.
More difficult to show off, you mean?
Everything's there.
How's it helping me?
Google it, na.
You're pissed because I Googled an answer to a question you asked me. So, how do you spell hypocrite?
HYPOCRITE.
Did you Google it?
Sort of. I typed it out wrong. Then.
CRE?
Yeah.
I used to do that. I have a set, actually, a bunch that always gives me trouble.
Commitment.
Arey, that one. How many T's, how many M's? I just type in something like it and hope for the best. Except now my phone spells it wrong because I spell it wrong. It's why spell check starts learning the wrong spelling.
It's worse when you type on a laptop because it doesn't autocorrect. So you know it's wrong, but you don't know what it is.
Can you imagine if you had dyslexia?
You know anyone who has it?
Partial, I think, but there's apparently degrees. I think you see it wrong, therefore you can't write it correct.
I feel like that a lot of the time. Can't get rain right a lot.
Rain, like the monsoon.
Like a king, Game of Thrones, that type of thing.
You're allowed to watch it?
Well, allowed is a flexible concept. You're not?
Elder brothers have uses.
We should write a letter about a dragon. Yesterday, a large dragon burned down the stretches of the Western Express Highway. Interestingly, it made no difference to the traffic.
You've been on the highway recently?
Yeah, we drove to the airport.
Where are you?
Goa.
Lucky.
Really? I'm here now.
Yeah, but the rest of the time?
Neither there nor there, yaar. This isn't school, but it's not a holiday also. It's nothing.
That sounds...
Yeah. What was your TOEFL, Gyan?
Oh, yeah, my brother had to do it. So, like, a lot of them are like a debate, a proposition. Keeping schools open during the pandemic. Do you agree or not? Give reasons.
Dull.
That's what it is. It actually doesn't matter whether you agree or not. There's no right or wrong. As long as the format is correct.
Isn't that the case with everything?
You think you get marks in algebra if the method was correct, but the answer was wrong?
Dude.
Oh.
Still don't know what to say though.
Did you listen to a word I just said?
They didn't give a topic, yaar.
You don't remember the letters we wrote in third or fourth or what?
Those summer holiday ones.
Yes.
But nothing's happened in the last year.
Really?
Well, to me.
Look, either you make stuff up, just like we did when we were younger. We went to the Himachal for my holidays and my brother is a pain, but ha ha ha, we're a happy family. Or you write about what's going on.
I don't know what to say.
Can I tell you a secret?
You know, that's one of the stupidest questions in the world. What am I going to say? No. Does anyone say no when you ask them that question?
Fine.
Say na, you can only give lectures or what? Why are you so touchy, yaar?
My God, I'm not complaining. I'm actually asking. Really?
You know why I called.
Yeah, but I need you to say it so I can make a point.
Oh yeah? Okay, ask again.
Why did you call me?
I needed some help.
With what?
With these letters that the school wants us to write now.
Why can I help you?
Because you always do well with this kind of stuff.
Okay, here's my secret. When I write things like letters and essays, I start with exactly the thing on my mind. For example, if I'm being asked about the last few months or there's a question about what's happening in my life, I'll say we're in the middle of a pandemic and I really don't know what to say.
But that's what I am saying.
No, you idiot. That's what I'll write.
Oh, then?
If you put it down, there's immediately a question you have to answer, no? In the letter.
I guess.
Come on.
Why? Don't you know what to say?
Exactly. And then you say that. And it leads to the next thing.
Acha, I see. So I just write what's on my mind, right?
Yes.
And what do you say at the end?
Kindly, regards.
Cool.
I have all the details. Sorry, we have all the details.
It's not as bad as we thought, but we're all going to have to write it. There's no getting around.
Well, you could, but there might be some risk.
Just say, na. Then we can figure out what the shortcuts might be, if there are shortcuts.
Everyone has to write a letter.
The letter can be addressed to anyone. Teachers, editors, God.
Yeah, but you have to send it to whoever you've addressed it to.
God?
Mailer demon. Failed to deliver your message.
You can also send a letter to a fellow classmate, or several classmates, or your whole class.
Even if you send it to one person, that person has to send it to another person of their own choosing.
This is to ensure that the letter gets written.
So you could not send it, but then you're running a risk of someone reporting it to the teachers.
Wait, why would anyone in class do that?
Hence proven.
Oh yeah, if someone can tell Mangala Miss about copying maths homework, then they might tell on you if you don't take this letter seriously.
Dude, that's some Game of Thrones level chess playing by the teachers.
Wait, what?
You'll have to take the letter seriously because you don't trust that the rest of your class will cover for you.
Consequences.
That's evil.
So smart.
Dear Mr. Editor, as part of an initiative at school, I'm writing you this letter to give you a sense of what the last few months have been like for us children. I really don't know what to say. I'm in Goa with my family. It sounds like it should be great, but really isn't. We had an opportunity to leave Mumbai just before the second lockdown. So we did. No one here is interested in wearing masks. So it's really like being in Andheri. We can't really go anywhere. And even if we do, my parents are continuously panicking. They keep getting into fights. One guy in his 20s, I think, told my mom she was killing the vibe. She nearly killed him. There's nothing to do. Really, even school is boring. We're not really studying, not really on holiday. We're just... One evening in the 8th, I was trying to finish my history project. It was evening and the curtains were drawn. My pen cap rolled away into the corner, away from the window. As I reached for it, we lost power. It was totally dark. Not like the night, where if you give it a few minutes, there's light from somewhere. This was like floating in space. At least, maybe what I think floating in space is like. There's a scene in Life of Pi. The kid is on the boat and he's completely on his own in the middle of the sea. It's night. He's looking into the water, which is completely still. Then this whale comes up from the deep and knocks the boat over. It's one of the most terrifying things I've ever seen. Right now is a bit like that. We play football in the evenings. That's the best part of the day. I think we'll stop soon because cases are rising.
Dear Sir, Madam, every day I look outside my window. This year, it's not like it was the last year. Last year, it was something from a film. We couldn't believe what was happening. We'd never seen the city like this. A ghost town. Like the apocalypse had happened somewhere else and had taken all the people. I'd sit by my window, watching the road like I was at a national park, waiting for someone to emerge in the distance from the trees. Eventually, always a man on the cycle, bringing us supplies. We complained about our chocolate, and the man who washes our cars asked my mother to bring him basic rations: rice, dal, oil. He couldn't get to the store. The police were lathi charging them. Or if we did, the stores were just always closed. It's not like this time. There's no fear on the streets. It just feels like a holiday. I also wanted to ask, why is it always so before madam? What's that about? Reply if you dare.
Dear Mrs. Deshpande, I just wanted to write to you because I know you're the least well of all of my teachers. And I think that it must have been very strange for you to have joined and have had to take all your classes online without knowing any one of us in the way that our other teachers do. A bit like walking into a film when it's almost over. Anyways, I also wanted to thank you for the way you've been teaching us Shakespeare. I never thought it could be so much fun. Anyways, it is really nice reading the scenes properly and understanding them as if we were actually performing the play. It makes much more sense that way. I also wanted to say that I finally understand why you call on Sanjana and Naisha all the time. They read well, of course, there's no denying that. However, you're bound to run into problems with both of them at some point. See, Sanjana is happy as long as she's reading constantly. However, the minute she is not, she'll become unhappy very quickly. As for Naisha, she'll behave nice as long as she's interested. The minute she gets bored, she'll start to disrupt the meeting, play around with the other students, pretend there's something wrong with her internet, just mess around in general, read words wrong, or read with funny accents. They've both just always had a problem with each other. Since like the third or fourth standard, they were very close friends. But after that, no one knows what really happened. They've just always had it to outdo each other and hate each other in school. It can get pretty messy. Anyways, please don't think I'm telling on my other classmates. I just thought you did not know this and that you should. Thanks again for the classes.
To whomever it may concern.
Shouldn't it be to whomsoever it may concern?
Why don't you write your own letter instead of telling everyone else what to do?
I know something about him.
Oh yeah? Say na.
Not yet.
I'm sorry I told people about the background, okay?
Too late. Should have thought about it when you said it.
Really? Do you guys mind? All of you. I don't care whosoever it is, and I don't care if you get your revenge.
Relax, yeah? It's not like we're getting marked on these.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, I've been thinking too hard about this. Can I just say we're not being marked at the moment? Who knows when that changes? Can they do that? Sanjana, look at the world around you. You think teachers know what's going on? Half the time we are having to show them how to work Zoom or Teams or whiteboards.
I've mostly had to show my dad.
Sanjana?
I threw her out. You want to be next?
Who put you in charge?
Kalpesh.
What?
Zip it. All of you.
Who needs a teacher when you're...
Okay, we'll shut up. Go for it.
To whomever it may concern. Who the hell is in charge? I ask because it doesn't seem anyone is. Who is in charge? The center? The states? The state says it's the center. Then the center says, no, it's the states. Then you say you're in charge again. Why aren't we vaccinating? Why are we sending all the vaccines out of the country? Is this the best we can do? The absolute best? Does this worry you? Does this keep you up at night? Or do the elections keep you up at night? The state elections. Is that why you're flip-flopping like a fish out of the water about who can impose restrictions and who can't? Look, I haven't been to school in a long time, and I miss it. Who should we believe? Why do we believe them? Anything? No?
So, whatever, whoever. I'm here in Bombay. I don't have anywhere to go. No farmhouses, no holiday homes, no Airbnb in Goa, no family scattered near enough or far enough away for there to be a trip of any kind. I'm here. I like it. I know where everything is in my neighborhood, in my home. I know where everything's supposed to go. Sometimes I cycle. I don't know if I'd be allowed to in Goa. I don't know if I'd know where to go. But even then, I was glad to hear that that student and the family decided to drive to Goa and then had to turn back because they were afraid to use the bathrooms on the expressway. I mean, it's okay for guys, not for girls. Not okay if you really need to go. I suppose that makes me mean. But she lives 2 streets down. I see her every day. That's okay by me.
Why don't you speak now? Are you mad or is your mouth taped? You black sheep.
I am not mad. Nothing is
What
Good morning, everyone. I'm Anheri Vyas, and today we're going to be learning a really fun dance on Zoom.
Good night, Auntie. Bye.
What is wrong with you people? Turn on your cameras, everyone. What is wrong with you?
Nothing is wrong with us. There's something wrong with you.
Okay, everyone, let's please try this again. Please turn on your cameras. Let's cooperate with each other. Please. Okay, good. That's like a well-behaved class. Now, everyone, please unmute yourselves. Okay, that's what I called a well-behaved class. Good job. If you can't keep quiet, I'm going to make you keep quiet.
I want to tell you about Mexican standoffs. What is a Mexican standoff, you might ask? And why have I written it with a capital M and a capital S? It is, of course, something you know about from the movies. Now, look, I understand, respected sirs and madams, that the movies you watch and the movies I watch might be a tad bit different. Therefore, there's an explanation of what a Mexican standoff is. A Mexican standoff means three people with guns pointed at each other. Basically, you pose a threat. In the movies, this is usually a serious threat. But you're also vulnerable to attack. While you shoot, can also be shot. This is as true in the movies as it is trying to eat your lunch at school. Having a sibling, really. By researching this phenomena for the purpose of this letter, I have discovered that there are no requirements for there to be three people or parties, to be more exact, or in fact to be any guns involved at all, which in turn led me to the concept of Zugwang, which has immediately become one of my favorite words. Zugwang means exactly the same thing as Mexican standoff, or rather stands as the definition for the idea that includes Mexican standoffs. Like, all porpoises are dolphins, but not all dolphins are porpoises. Well, also, I've always wanted to know, is it poise, as in poise under pressure, or poise, like the end of turquoise, which I recently discovered is less of a poise and more of a poise. Well, poise like quoise and quaz like quaz. What an interesting footnote and diversion to my letter, which involves words like Zugwang. A zugwang is a position you find yourself in a turn-based game where because you have to make a move, that's how the game is played. And any move you make will leave you in the worst possible position. I don't know if this term applies in Queen's Gambit because I wasn't allowed to watch it. I'm reliably informed that it involves drug use for the purpose of concentration. I want to, however, mention that watching Sanju is okay, but one can argue that drugs didn't really help his concentration. But it didn't seem to do much harm either. As you can tell, I've had quite a bit of free time over the last year or so. Anyways, I thought of this because it seemed to me to be the best way to understand the variants of coronavirus. Like the many variants there are, just like the many variants of dolphins, etc. But Delta, which can't be called Indian anymore, is like a Mexican standoff. We have to vaccinate so that we don't fall ill. And as we vaccinate, the virus will be forced to evolve. What's the right choice? Is there a right choice? Or is it a Zugwang? And then I realized that it isn't like restricted to 3 people or just guns. This can apply to everything. Doing well at school, because that's expected every time. To what happened to Aneri when she tried to control a class she was teaching. Oh, it was a Mexican standoff.
Dear Principal, this letter is by the way of a general apology. I'm not writing to you to apologize about yelling at Standard 3, or indeed, shutting down the scheduled lesson early. I'm fully aware that I'll have to take the class again. That part of the challenge, part of the lesson I think you're trying to impart upon us, is that sometimes we have to find a way to get through something, even if it's hard, even if it has been a total failure, so to speak. For a long time, we had a German Shepherd. He was a good dog called Rocky. But because he'd already become a member of this house before I was born, he never took me seriously. I mean, ever. He loved me, but he wouldn't listen to a word I said. That's how I felt. I do not intend to apologize. Standard 3 are evil. What's worse is that they know it. They are conscious evil. They could be politicians. They could also be politicians because they are highly effective when they choose. I'm going to fight them until I win. What I wanted to apologize about was something else. I know that I found myself in that position of being a teacher to those little terrors through no one's fault but my own. Almost exactly 2 years ago, before the mess that led to my current mess, I was wandering around school with a broken arm while the rest of my class went to sports. Should I have been unsupervised? Perhaps that is an issue you can raise with your staff. Anyway, I was floating about the corridors, and Kiran Miss was conducting some entrance exams for 3 or 4 little kids who were coming to school the year late. She asked if I'd help. I now realized that this was a grave error. I helped. It was fun. And when all of this was going on, you were sending us emails about extended assignments, about the things that we could do to help. And I offered, like a fool. I suppose this is the universe's way of punishing me, because my intentions weren't entirely noble. I was looking to polish up my extracurriculars. As you have warned us repeatedly, everything shouldn't be about the SATs in 2 years' time. I wish we'd listen. However, that isn't my apology either. I just want to say sorry to all my teachers from pre primary to now. I did not know that this was difficult. I did not know that controlling a class might become this difficult. I didn't know what it felt like to confront those little challenges. I'm sorry, this isn't easy. I felt panic and fear. I was very, very scared. And that made me even angrier because I was mad that a bunch of kids made me feel this way. The angrier I got, the more scared I felt. One more thing. We thought it was a secret. You can mute all participants, but they can just mute the laptops. It's a weird kind of democracy.
Dear Mrs. Moranjan, remember when you asked what it meant when something went viral? Aneri's video is a good example. Here I am, attaching it for your perusal. Please do not share it with anyone else. Please also note that this is a video that someone made on their phone. We have not attempted to hack into anyone's computer to steal Zoom recordings, although we know how to do so. I cannot tell you, but please trust us when we say that we won't. I also want to say then I think this whole exercise is stupid. I mean, writing letters, not trying to get us to handle some of the younger kids, that's stupid too. However, that is a separate discussion. Who writes letters anymore, ma'am? I can't think of anyone. We should just write emails. Kindly regards. Dear Mrs. Munanjan, Kalpesh made the recording. And no, I don't know what kindly regards means.
Yes, I've seen the video. It seems everyone has. What's the problem? I'm on both sides here. I get why she lost her head and yelled. I would have also done the same thing. I would also have behaved exactly like one of the Standard 3 kids. It's bad enough trying to attend online classes during a pandemic anyway. Teachers, I hate to break it to you. It's not like anyone is taking any of this seriously. We're only going through the motions because to actually stop schools would mean we've admitted defeat. Can I tell you something every one of us knows? No adults ever admit defeat, even when they've lost. They seem to have lost the ability. I think it's responsible for most of the problems in the world today. You know who I feel bad for? The kids who study. For their exams, for the 10th and the 12th. And I feel bad for the kids who thought they'd only study for the final exams. It's the people in the middle who got away with it. Everyone else either had their grades pulled up or down. I mean, I get it. We can't put the world on pause for 2 years, can we? Maybe someone should write a letter about that, like a science fiction report from the future. People need to stop hating on the kids. Have you watched the news lately? There's plenty of people behaving badly. And those are the people who are supposed to be leading us through the tough times.
I like the letters. I don't have anything to say. I don't know if there's anything we can do that will actually make a difference, but I like listening to them. Otherwise, I feel like a rat in a trap, just walking around in circles trying to find a way out. There's nothing to look forward to. In the last year, every time I've been at an airport or every time I've been in a car going somewhere, I feel hopeful. I feel like I can start doing things from the very next day, that I'm finally in charge of my time and how I'm going to use it. But it's like a car going uphill, and then you lose all power. You coast for a while, then you come to a halt. You either stay in one place or you start rolling back down the hill. There's no substance to anything. Everything's like smoke, almost like Hiren is messing around in chemistry practicals, mixing solutions that shouldn't be mixed. Right now, I'd welcome that. I'd welcome standing around in a lab creating hydrogen sulfide. Otherwise, the days just melt into each other. Mornings into afternoons into evenings, just like that. Nothing is important. Watching stuff isn't fun. The internet is just doom scrolling. Everyone saying the same things, baking the same recipes. You're either for it or against. The whole thing's like an IPL match. Forgotten the next day. I like listening to the letters. Angry, funny, rubbish. Sometimes I see people in them. Does that make sense? I've started typing them out. Who knows? One day maybe we'll turn them into a book. Pandemic Soup.
Miss, I don't have anything to say. I did have a question. Do you remember a man called Patil who used to be a lab attendant? We had him until the 8th. He was a legend for all of us. He was a 9th standard bio. My sister told me that when students came to the respiratory system, the professors would get a pair of goat's lungs and Patil would demonstrate the blowing into them. Every year without fail, at least one person felt nauseous. That's not why I'm asking about him. He was always a nice man. He always helped. He wouldn't let you cheat during the exam anymore, obviously, but he'd help you if it's going wrong, and he'd see that people are feeling shy or scared, and he'd make them feel a little less so. I never really knew him. My sister did. At some point, he found out that we lived in Andheri East back then, and he asked if my sister could help in getting some tablets from Holy Spirit Hospital, which was just down the lane. My sister said yes, and ultimately it was a mother who made the trip to the hospital every couple of months. I just wanted to know if you knew how he was. Is his daughter better? Do you know what her problem was? Because my sister doesn't remember the name of the tablet, Neither does my mother. But I've been thinking a lot about him since last year. I wonder how they are. Did they still need the medication? Did they still have to get it from Holy Spirit? Did they manage in the lockdown?
Hi, miss. You know me. I don't say much. Most of the time, I feel like I don't have much to add. If I do, I feel like I'll sound stupid. I think you wanted us to feel a certain kind of freedom with these letters, so we can send them to the people we want. Some people won't take this seriously. Some people will take it too seriously. Most will be somewhere in the middle. I don't have anything to say. I also remembered that you said that letter of this kind, were a kind of self portrait, a way to show yourself. We get to choose what we want to reveal, what we want to say, how we want to say it. That stayed with me, miss. I never thought of it that way. So, here's my self portrait.
What happened?
I thought I was handling a class. I did not know it was going to be a riot.
No. We know what happened. I think she's asking what happened.
I don't know, yeah.
Just walk away, no. You don't have to do it. It's not compulsory.
Have you spoken to Mrs. Kumar?
No.
Maybe you should.
Look, there's being brave, principled, whatever. And then there's being stupid.
Unless you're thinking, I don't know, revenge?
How was she going to take revenge on all of Standard 3?
Wait, how do you take revenge on an entire class?
That's not the real question.
No, why don't you tell me what my question is, Guruji?
How do you take revenge on a whole class if you're not the teacher?
That's actually right.
Not that our teachers would.
Did you just say that in case a teacher ever sees this?
No.
Wow, this is some digital string theory suck up by proxy number.
What's string theory?
You don't know what Big Bang Theory or what?
I don't get a lot of jokes.
What is string theory?
See, there's a string and you pull it. That's the theory.
Wow.
Stop showing off. It posits that there are an infinite number of parallel universes. So there's an infinite number of possibilities. Say we are talking about this conversation. So in a parallel universe, maybe Aneri said, yes, I want revenge. And then the conversation would proceed along those lines. In another, maybe Sanjana isn't an unsufferable know-it-all, etc.
But what's the point?
I don't know.
Hello, I've just Googled all of this. Why are you talking rubbish?
What do you mean?
First of all, it's not an infinite number of universes. I mean, it's a lot, but there's a number. And second, it's about some unified theory in 6 dimensions. And that atoms are really such tiny strings that we can't see them.
Oh.
It seemed easier in Doctor Strange.
You know, the Marvel universe might not be the best basis for a scientific fact.
You're the one that brought up string theory.
Yes, you're right. I think I was just trying to be dramatic about parallel universes and got it wrong.
Yeah, we must be in a parallel dimension right now.
Why?
You've ever known Sanjana to apologize before?
This is just this time travel thing that she wants to lagao.
Oh yeah? You ever hear of confirmation bias?
No.
You hear what you want to hear and then say, see, I was right.
That just sounds like you have a problem.
No, wait. So someone is telling you something and you only take the parts of the information that support what you're thinking and say, see?
That sounds like my parents.
That sounds like a lot of parents.
You think it sounds only like parents?
You want revenge?
No.
Thank God.
Loser.
They did what we would have done.
But we never did anything like this.
If we'd had a chance.
A 10th standard teaching on Zoom.
Well,
It would have been way worse.
yeah, that we also know.
What's bothering you?
How do you get a class to listen to you, yeah? Like, what's the secret?
Because you're the teacher.
Yes, but why do we have teachers we prefer?
Some of them like us.
Yeah, but
But what?
Are you talking about authority or being a good teacher?
Isn't it the same?
Are all teachers the same?
No,
Some are okay.
some are nice.
And some are really good teachers.
Isn't that the same?
No, because you can be really strict, really tough, but a really good teacher at the same time, right?
Yeah, we grew up with this stuff.
But have you ever really thought about it?
About kinds of teachers? No, yeah. Mostly just trying to stay out of trouble.
what is it about the good teachers, the ones we really learn from?
It's not about being soft.
No, in fact, most of them aren't.
What do you remember about the teachers you liked?
They were fair, tough usually, but fair.
Funny.
They knew their stuff, but could make you understand. So it didn't remain theory. You understood it?
Didn't make you feel stupid or like a kid. So respect.
And they like us. We're not an inconvenience or a hurdle.
Were you afraid of them?
Yes. But that's not their fault, no?
What are you going to do?
I've been thinking about confirmation bias. We hear what we want to hear. I did some reading as well. There are kinds of listening. I didn't know what they were talking about. Then I saw that you could be an active listener or a passive listener. That made sense. A lot of the times in school, after lunch, you know what happens. It's a weapon that kids have. We don't think about it in those terms. It's more of an instinct. It's also okay, I guess. There's a lot you can't control when you're not an adult. So it's okay to have one thing. It's kind of a self-defense mechanism. As with all things of this nature, people will misuse them. I'm sorry about that. It's also interesting to me that it's not only about listening. We also see what we want. Everyone keeps talking about Mumbai and how wealth and poverty sit side by side. We know it so well, we can ignore it. I just wanted to ask though, how did we forget the migrants and what happened last year so quickly? Last year, it was like the partition. This year, it's about where we're taking holidays. Migrants have just disappeared, or we can't see them anymore. They are not the same thing. That's confirmation bias. I think that's okay for kids. I don't know if that's okay for adults. I don't know if that's acceptable for people in charge. There should be an age where you have to stop being a passive listener. How come no one gives that exam?
I got this feeling inside my bones. It goes electric, baby, when I turn it on. All through my city, all through my home. We're flying up, no ceiling when we're in the zone. I got that sunshine in my pocket. I got that good soul in my feet. Got that hot blood in my body. And when it drops, oh, I can take my eyes up off it. Moving so phenomenally. Room on lock, the way we rock it. So don't stop. It's under the lights when everything goes. Nowhere to hide when I'm getting you close. Remember moves, yeah, you already know. So just imagine. What needs to happen here are seconds in the backing vocals. So just imagine, just imagine, just imagine. It's really something to dance to. It's a song that always makes me jump around. It makes me happy. We did a performance at JML Jam a few years ago. I used to love singing it. I hadn't thought about it in years. I fell down a YouTube rabbit hole. I didn't know that's what it was called. It's an Alice in Wonderland reference. You go through a gap in the hedge and you're somewhere else. You look up and 3 hours have passed and you're somewhere completely different. Usually on YouTube, you can apply to anything. Like our teachers sometimes say, rabbit hole.
Last year we fell through a rabbit hole and suddenly we were banging buttons and lighting candles and the police were lathi charging people trying to get home. Or they were pending vegetables. In the comment section for this video, under where the cast patrols are singing and dancing, someone had written that they worked at a hospital and every time a patient recovered from COVID and was about to go home, they'd play the song. You should sing it with harmonies.
What have the others been saying to you in these letters, miss? I mean, I don't really want to know. I just wonder about it. I have fun thinking about what people might say. Some will complain, some will make fun, some will surprise you. I guess I'm in a little subset. This may surprise you, it might not. It won't surprise anyone in class because they all know this. They have done for years. What I'd really like to do is manage a football team, ma'am. Be a coach. I don't want to play. I know I'm not good enough to play professionally. Someone told me I shouldn't be thinking like that. You never know and all that. I feel like it's a bit stupid to not acknowledge some facts. I mean, can I be a basketball player? Yes. Can I be a professional basketball player? No. I don't have the height and I don't have the athletic ability to compensate for that. In something like sport, I think you have to have that kind of awareness. But I like football, miss. I understand it. I see things, tactics, adjustments. My dad had to limit my time playing Pro Evolution Soccer and Football Manager. Does that make me qualified? No, but that tells me that I want to see if I can get an education in sports science and see if I can make it happen. I mean, I know the lockdown was a terrible thing for people all around the world, but I was glad for one thing, I could watch all the games, all the Champions League matches that start 1 in the morning, as long as I woke up in time for school and napped in the afternoon. And it was just for football. I could do it. And oh, I had to stop yelling at the television. That was part of the deal. I'd put on my wind cheater, walk up and down in front of the TV, and yell in whispers. I must have looked like a viral video.
The phone rang around 11 at night. I felt scared when the phone rang. Who calls a landline now anyway? And if someone is calling at 11 at night on the landline when we're in a lockdown and COVID is everywhere, you think it's bad news. You know it's bad news. This was last year. I wasn't supposed to be up that late, but it was a Friday and all of our routines had gone out of the window when we thought it would be weeks, maybe months. I answered and this lady asked if she had the right number. I said yes. She knew my name and asked if it was me. I said yes again. By now, my mother was standing by the phone, looking very worried. The lady asked to speak to my mother. I said who I should say was speaking, and she said, I'm your Aunt Shalini. I've never seen my parents like that. They sat by the landline for 45 minutes, both crying, speaking to her. The lady was my aunt, my dad's sister. They hadn't spoken in 15 years. Apparently, my aunt thought it was because she married a Canadian man, someone who's white. She lives in Canada, which is why she had called so late. My father was upset with her because she didn't visit India when my grandfather had passed away, before I was born. There was a complication with a visa. She couldn't leave the country, otherwise they wouldn't allow her back in. They hadn't spoken in 15 years. She called because of everything that was happening all over the world. That's my story. At least one good thing came out of the pandemic.
So, my uncle built a glider, and it's a very special glider. He's an inventor. We haven't seen him in 7 years because he mysteriously disappeared. He was being chased by foreign agents, you see, and this was on account of his inventions. His glider could travel to the moon. And now you will think that I'm joking. But I've seen this with my own eyes. I have not traveled to the moon now myself, but my uncle disappeared before he could take me. The glider needed to be launched from very high, apparently, from somewhere in the Himalayas. And then it rode the thermals in a rising circle until it broke through the Earth's atmosphere. Oh, and in my next letter, I will tell you about the pill that he once invented. And you know, that pill could have replaced petrol. Just that one pill, it could give a car a range of approximately 600 kilometers. In fact, he disappeared just after he invented that miracle. Is anyone taking any of these letters seriously? If so, please let me know.
me tell you about the Met department. No one in Mumbai takes them seriously. If they put out a warning, we usually ignore them. Look at last year. When they said there would be a cyclone, there was really nothing. The 5th of August, on the other hand, was absolutely mad. We'd never seen wind like it. My parents hadn't seen wind like it. I've never seen places flood so quickly. And I live in Khar. My granddad used to say that after the BMC started clearing drains, a frog has to pee just once and Khar will flood. Please don't inform my parents of this fact. Not about Khar flooding, but that my grandfather used to speak to me like this. I thought it was funny. When the water started to rise last year, I spent a long time watching a security guard from the next building. He'd identified one of the reasons why the street was flooding. There's a drain next to the first parking spot on the street. All the leaves and branches that had been blown off the trees by the force of the wind had collected there, carried by the water that was trying to drain away. Alongside were Mumbai's gifts, rubbish and plastic, bottles and wrappers. In a way, it was good that we were living through a lockdown, because if it had been a street with normal levels of casual littering, I think we might have had standing water for a couple of stories deep. All of this debris was being pulled to this drain. Because none of it could pass through, it clogged the drain. Water began to rise. This man, dressed in chappals with his trousers rolled up, holding an umbrella with one hand, tried to clear this drain for an hour. He only had one hand free. So all he could do was toss this debris away. Immediately a whirlpool would form because the drain was now pulling water. In seconds, that would pull all the debris back. He was like the boy on the burning deck, although it was raining. You know what I mean. If he'd had one person helping him, maybe holding a bucket where he could dump the trash he was pulling free, then the street wouldn't have flooded as badly. He did this for an hour, like a hero. He staggered away because he was so tired. My mom refused to let me go help him. The next day, people started complaining about the BMC and the fact that a lot of cars wouldn't start.
I suppose I should confess that I get bored in class a lot. But that's not your fault. So we had a counseling session a few years ago, and the lady who was conducting it asked if anyone had a problem with procrastination. If we hadn't been in class, I would have put my hand up. I have a problem with procrastination. I can't do it. I've tried and I'm very bad at it. So I'm usually ahead of the class. You know the cliche, Indian kids and their parents. Now my parents are demanding, not too crazy. And I usually like getting through things. I know it'll help me with further studies, but even if it didn't, I think I'd still be the same. So I have a fair amount of free time on my hands during class. Sometimes I doodle. I used to draw, thinking I'd create my own graphic novel. But I mostly sketch now. So a few years ago, my parents took me to the Pench National Park. I wasn't expecting to be impressed. I wasn't expecting to fall in love. Yet, I did. I loved the forest. I loved safaris. I loved sitting real quiet, waiting for things to happen. I loved spotting a tiger. But also, I think I loved everything else. I loved this ride of birds the first time we went. One afternoon, we had stopped in this rest area which is in the park, and they usually serve breakfast in that place. So that's a picnic served on the bonnet of your Jeep. It's just an open area, sort of fenced. Then there's a two-story structure where they used to help people onto the backs of elephants. But I think they've stopped those safaris now, and they use the elephants to patrol the park. So there's the two-story structure, the bathrooms, and that's it. In the mornings, it's very busy. That afternoon, we were the only car. So I had gone to the toilet.
So did my mother. My brother and my father had gone to the gents. Now I was done and I was walking back to the jeep when I saw 3 Malabar hornbills in flight. So Malabar hornbills, they're pretty rare. Large birds, very shy, with a wonderful yellow beak. And Malabar hornbills, they have a very particular way of flying. So they beat their wings a few times and they glide like some strange paper plane that God has made. They have that hunched but effortless gliding quality. So these 3 birds, from the clearing, they came out of the trees and they flew right across my face. I was the only one who saw it. The driver and the guide, they were too far away. And my family was still in the loose. It is the most beautiful thing I have ever seen. So I made a deal with my parents. As long as I continued to do well, we'd go to the national park every year.
I can spend hours on YouTube. There's some genuinely crazy stuff on there. People have too much time on their hands. Also, Americans are nuts. In the lockdown, they went mad. Mentos and Coke bottles, using a very hot knife to cut through anything they can think of. Throwing cans of spray paint into lawn mowers. It's like a video game, which is a bit scary because the whole point of a video game is that it isn't real. That in turn led me to fail videos. I don't like the violent stuff out there. People getting beaten up outside the movies makes me sad. People being stupid though, that's gold. There's an insane one where these 3 guys drop a knife into a toaster that's on. People, please do not try this at home. I don't know what they were expecting. I don't know what I was expecting. I think both sets of expectations were topped. The whole thing just exploded. This reminded me of Naisha's great moment. The time where she was suspended for a week. We were in the 8th. It was during history class. We were submitting our history projects, so everyone was gathered around the table. I saw Naisha slowly open up a paperclip. In slow motion, she put one end of the paperclip into one terminal of a socket, and then the other one. Then she winked at me and put the switch on. Nothing happened to her, thank God, or in the classroom. But there was a really loud sound. The entire 4th floor just lost power. What a girl.
I spend a lot of time thinking about superheroes. I know it's silly. I know it's a stereotype. Boys my age, that's what we think about because that's what we're being invited to think about. Come to think of it, it's not just boys. There's enough stuff they're peddling to girls. The number of Frozen themed parties my little sister has been to, it's insane. They all look the same. Same theme, same gift, same clothes. No one wants anything different. Also, come to think of it, it's not just kids. There seem to be enough adults who think about superhero films much more than they should. You should have seen the people showing up at the movies. You know, when we went to watch movies. Everything on television wants to be a comic book story or is a comic book story. It's stupid. And then I'd waste my time thinking about what superpower I'd want. Until last year, I'd have said I want intelligence as my superpower. It's not glamorous, but it is smart. You can think your way through any problem. Now I turn back time. That's weirdly sad because it's weird and it's sad. So I've stopped thinking about it.
First, they sealed off the flat. Mr. and Mrs. Khanna, their daughter, Mr. Khanna's mother, and house help. Mr. Khanna got it first. My mom spoke to them across the hallway in front of the lifts. She wanted them to do all tests because Khanna uncle was already isolating. Then she and my dad ended up fighting because my mom really wanted to offer either Rashi, who's their daughter, or her grandmother the option to quarantine in our flat. My dad kept saying he understood, but it wasn't anything that we could actually offer. Even if they tested negative, there was no guarantee that they didn't already have the virus. Then it would become something that we'd have to worry about. Before we could find a solution, the BMC sealed their flat and then our floor. Uncle had it, then Auntie got it, then Rashi's grandmother got it. She had to be hospitalized. She got better and even made it home, but she was just too weak. She'd come to live with them just before the lockdown. I never got to meet her. We couldn't even go to the funeral. When we finally went to see them after the first lockdown ended and everyone felt safe, it had been months. Mrs. Khanna just held my mother and cried. It's not a good time, ma'am. We shouldn't forget.
Do you know, miss? During the lockdown, I became a detective. My watchman went back to his village the moment it seemed like there would be a second wave. I've tried calling his number, it won't connect, not enough balance. The other number connected once, but we couldn't hear each other. I don't even know if he knew it was me. I don't think our number is saved on the other phone. I guess that's how you'd know when you don't speak to someone regularly. Then I contacted Mr. Baig, who's the building secretary. We don't have any other numbers for Kishen. That's his name. I should call him that instead of the watchman. Kishen only left those two numbers. Even if something had happened to him in Mumbai, there's no one else we could have informed. That's very scary. Like being on a small boat in a big ocean with only one thin line connecting you to any kind of safety. He has an Aadhaar card. The society had it because it's a police requirement. The address on it is just like ours. No building, no house number, no street, just an area and a pin code. Started googling the pin code and found the area. I did this a few times because none of the websites were government ones. I wanted to be sure I had it right. Then I asked my mom what to do. She thought about it and said, Beta, the post office will know. Dig around and find the post office that is the final destination for that postcode. Then send your letter to Kishan Singh Rathore, care of that post office. I had to go to post the letter because couriers don't deliver to those places. The lady behind the counter was nice. She took pity because I was about as clueless as my nanny trying to operate the smart TV. She also told me to make it registered post, and I did. She also told me that no one knows how long it will take because of the pandemic. There's a backlog and there's a shortage of staff. That's what I've done, miss. I haven't heard back yet. I don't know if that's because the letter's wrongly addressed or because it hasn't been time.
Okay, so I'm going to show you all some very easy dance moves. Just look at me, okay? So it goes like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's it. Anyone interested?
So, I told you about how I discovered forests and birds. Obviously, we haven't been out in a long time, and it's probably going to be another year before we can step out properly. Part of what we've learned, if we can bother to remember, is that not to take these things for granted. Forests, holidays, being able to just pick up and go. Part of what we've also learned is that the world is a beautiful place. Now, these are some photographs of the tree outside my window. This is a kingfisher. Now, these are some crows. They're really smart. I've been getting them to dive to collect single wafers. And this is an oriole. I think it's a Eurasian one. And this is a sparrowhawk. I'm hoping it's pretty rare because I've never seen it again. We've all grown up with coels driving us mad. But
He's just trying to impress a female, especially with some gifts. But she's not impressed. I'm pretty sure we've all seen this around us, not just with birds. Now, this is the Coppersmith barbet. I think it's really cute. It's the official bird of Bombay. If you've never seen one before, I can guarantee you've heard it because it makes a toom 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 sound like someone is beating a copper vessel. This head looks like it's been hand painted. And here's a hornbill. Although it's a grey one and not of the Malabar species. And here's a black kite. We've all seen them. But have you really seen them? Now, I just like to say that the tree outside my window is a miracle.
I've been thinking about why I like sports so much. Dad and I got into an argument. One by one, all the leagues I follow around the world, the Premier League, the NBA, the IPL, they all started to come back after a pause in front of empty stadiums. Everyone who loves sports said, "Thank God." Everyone who doesn't understand sports said, "What is happening? Why are they spending so much money on health and security when so many people don't have access to facilities? Why are they playing fake audience sounds?" Because sport makes people feel better. Because it's something else to concentrate on. Because it's better than watching the news. I don't know, ma'am. I'm 15. I like sports because it's a bit like the theatre, like the proper plays we've done with ADV, sir. They're not easy. There are challenges every day, all different. They are about hard work and having fun and paying attention and enjoying yourself, but also being responsible. They're about teamwork. If you're rehearsing, it's about those 2 months and you have to deliver. If it's a game, then you have the 1 hour or whatever. It's like life, but concentrated. When it's done, it's okay if it hasn't gone well. You can always come back the next day. If the show is done, then the next show. It teaches you to keep moving, I think.
Okay, third standard, let's start fresh. So because it's on Zoom, it's going to be a lot more difficult to get it right as a whole class because you cannot follow the person in front of you and you're going to be far away from the computer. Make sense? This is why Naisha and I are here to help you. It's a challenge, but it's also a lot more fun if you can get it right as a big group.
Tomorrow. We'll meet. Papa, are you watching
Naisha,
Netflix?
we're trying to teach a class.
Mummy.
At least mute yourself.
Sorry.
What are you doing?
So who all will come? Don't call us. She's very
Naisha,
annoying.
we're trying to teach some people out here. Naisha.
Papa, stop watching Netflix.
Naisha, you know what? Just do it yourself.
Okay,
I
fine.
don't have any interest in teaching here. Bye.
Go. You have no sense of humor. Hence proven.
Where to begin, miss? Have you been to Andheri? It's like COVID happened everywhere but Andheri. Other places, at least you can see a mask. Yes, it's under noses or decorating the chin. But in Andheri, there are no masks. People are spitting on the roads. People pull down their masks to speak on their phones. People pull down their masks to talk to you. This isn't just about Andheri, clearly. The new thing is lying about whether you're a frontline worker, so you can get the vaccine early. What is this, ma'am? When do we stop looking the other way?
We were running to Goa a month ago. My parents thought it would be safe. We've just come running back because now it's safer in Mumbai. Second lockdown is coming, for sure. People are falling ill, while others on Facebook are looking forward to some peace and quiet. It seems like some wires are tangled, just like Goa, which is absurd. People just went there because they thought, quite rightly, that they could disregard the rules a lot more. Now they're wondering how the virus is spreading this quickly. Wasn't there some kind of study that predicted this? That the second wave is always the worst? Have you seen the cases that came out of Lucknow and Gujarat? A month ago, the papers were full of reports of how jumbo centers that have been built were being dismantled. because you beaten COVID. Wow. Just wow. I have a theory, ma'am. We got taught all those proverbs when we were younger. A person is known by the company he keeps. More and more, I think a person is known by their behavior. Because you can't control what happens to you, you can control how you react. The answer seems to be to go to the Maldives. It's crazy.
Dear Madam, also, I take it back. In the first letter, I said there was no fear on the streets. It's the end of March 2021, and there is fear on the streets. There's fear everywhere. There's a surplus of fear and a lack of oxygen. It's like having a dream you've had before, but slowly, bit by bit, it's turning into a nightmare. At some point, we'll wake up, but it seems a long way away. This is just the middle of the night.
All that time on the internet has its uses. It's bad out there, ma'am. We know someone who's been in hospital for 3 weeks now. But at least they managed to get into a hospital. You only need to get onto Twitter to see that it's chaos out there. The BMC helpline is good. They have information. People have relatives in other cities also. Gujarat and Delhi and Bangalore is madness. No one knows anything. Someone reached out to a group that my mother is part of, like Road Tractor Lions Club. It's a hobby group, but they also do some fundraising. People out there are just asking for information. Where do we go? Who can help? Do we know anybody? So one evening I saw my mother sitting and compiling all this information on her phone, and I asked, "Tell me what you need." So like the BMC sends out updates every evening, I sit and I collate all the Twitter verified information that I can find. Hospitals with oxygen, respirators, where you can still get a test. Almost immediately, I had to start organizing all this information in a way that I could identify. Then I had to worry that others would be able to understand. So I guess this is what all my academics was good for, an ability to organize. My mother sat me down a few days ago and said, "I thought about whether it was okay for you to go through and listen to all these stories of such desperation like this. Because for the first time in a long time, we're in a situation where money can't solve our problem. Nothing can. It's about being careful and being lucky. Like being born into the families that we're born into." So I decided, no. It was important for you to see all of it. This is also the world we live in.
To all the students of the 10th, someone has just recently shared some information with me that I feel is important to share with the rest of you. Those of you who were in school 2 years ago, which is most of you, will recall that the class as a whole was punished for copying maths homework. We were told that it was because most of us had used the phrase "hence proven" while copying. That was the clue for Mangala Miss. Few months ago, Saisha told us that she had overheard Mangala Miss tell Mrs. Roy that someone had told her that there was mass copying. Just homework, not exams, obviously. Nevertheless, we were punished. The person who told on us was Naisha. I just thought you all should know this.
Dear Mrs. Deshpande, thank God school is virtual. I don't really know how all of this would have gone down if we'd still physically been in school. This time, I'm writing to you because I've been asked to. Mrs. Moranjan asked for a volunteer to write to a teacher of her own choice, explaining what's going on. As per normal, no one volunteered. You know what's serious? When a teacher points at you on a Zoom call. Anyways, here's a brief timeline, ma'am. 2 years ago, Naisha managed to blow up the entire fourth floor electric circuit with just a paperclip. Why she did this, no one knows, not even her. She was just trying to be funny. I asked her about it. She said she just wanted to see what happened. A few weeks later, she told on the entire class while we were struggling with square and cube roots. Most of the class got punished. It's pretty easy to tell who gets it and who doesn't. I mean, if we know, then the teachers know. Naisha did this to win back some kind of favor, I think.
Miss, you'll be getting all sorts of wide-eyed reports about the Sanjana Hiren thing. People love drama and gossip. Have you ever seen a fight on the street? People just gather around to watch. If there's accident on the highway, the chances are the bigger traffic jam is because of people slowing down to just look at what has happened. Sometimes the other side of the highway is also backed up because people wanted to view it from the other side. So here are my thoughts for free. Like the people on the highway, they're all idiots. Everybody. Our two protagonists and the people have strong opinions about it. This is just two people trying to outdo each other. Or in some weird game of phone adventure. It's like a web series, a JML version of the Hunger Games or the Maze Runner. Then you look around the country and think, is it really so surprising? The second wave is being caused because of elections. That is wonderful. Sanjana and Hiren. Just think about the West Bengal elections and close your eyes. That's what I think of them. One is trying to be a hero, the other is trying to be the class pet, which depends on the time of the day. They alternate, you see, the whole thing is moronic.
I don't like it when things are tense. Ma'am, even if I'm not directly involved, maybe it's childish. I wouldn't say this in front of everybody because they would just make fun. It's okay to not like someone or to not get along with them at all. I don't think it's okay to change the way everybody feels simply through your behavior. Some teachers do it too. I don't mind someone being strict, but sometimes teachers make you uncomfortable. It can be like that in class. It can definitely be like that on the school bus every day or on the school trip. I don't miss that. A feeling of dread hanging over everything you say. It's like you feel a little ill, but you can't say it. And there's nothing specifically wrong. Just a mood or a vibe. I feel it when my parents have a disagreement or you're around people who don't like each other. For a while last year, we felt it every time when we gathered around the TV to watch the news. It's a bitter taste in your mouth like COVID. It leaves you weak and tired. I just wish people could get along. Even if they disagree, we are all against something or someone now. It's mad.
I'm in the minority. I don't agree with what Sanjana did. This is an unpopular opinion. That doesn't make it wrong. I think Naisha was stupid. I don't like what she did 2 years ago either. However, it's not right for Sanjana to have used this incident to get Naisha into trouble about something that has nothing to do with this. How did she know? And instead of getting Naisha to apologize for what she did to an AV, instead, she chose to get her into trouble for something else. Was she saving the information for a suitable moment? That's really selfish. I don't think enough people are thinking about that. These things should stay inside the classroom. Yes, I know that we're not in a class, but I think you know what I mean. This isn't right. Too many people are jumping on Naisha without also taking Sanjana to task.
I've waited you join. I'll show
Guys,
you.
I cannot do this anymore. I refuse to.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
How did you guys learn that?
Nice
I spent the last few months thinking about doing something to help. Every time, it was a question of yes, but what can I do? I'm just a kid. Can one person actually make a difference? The answer is always no, because that's what you're expecting to hear. I was the one talking about confirmation bias. Look at what Divina started doing. Just on her own, because she felt she had to. She didn't need anyone to give her permission. So, I'm starting to. Anything you have to spare. Toys, clothes, money, medicines about to expire. I did some digging online. There's dozens of places that are begging for anything a normal household can spare. We don't have to do anything. Just find the things we have no use for and send them on. Let me know, ma'am. Too many people have too little because too few people have too much. Can one person make a difference? I don't know. What is the point if we don't try? We'll never know until we do. I used to watch a lot of tennis until a couple of years ago. I hope to play tennis professionally, but I don't think I'm good enough. I still like watching it though. I'm a huge fan of Roger Federer's. I also lost a little bit of interest because he kept getting injured. Even then, I also became a fan of Stan Wawrinka because of Roger. He's Swiss too. He's fun to watch. Great backhand. He has a quote on his left forearm that I've been thinking about a lot. It's from the famous Irish writer, Samuel Beckett. Ever tried, ever failed. No matter. Try again. Fail again. Fail better.
You did a nice thing today. I think everyone was surprised. It would have been easier just to say sorry.
I didn't know it was that important to her. Sometimes, a lot of the time, I get carried away. I thought the teachers were forcing her to do that stuff. I wouldn't I wouldn't have done it otherwise.
You must have gotten in touch with the class teacher to be able to speak to them, then convince them, and then taught them the moves. It was a nice thing. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have sent the letter to Nakia.
How did you know?
Your mom told my mom. It was 2 years ago. She was worried about you.
Does your mom know that you told the class?
No,
Hmm.
I apologize.
It's more than that. It wasn't yours to tell. Anyway, my mom told your mom, and this had nothing to do with that.
You never told the class.
When did you find out?
2 years ago.
You could have come to me and told me to tell the class, and then told them if I refused.
Would you have?
I don't know. I was scared. I almost got expelled. But why didn't you tell them then, when you found out? Because it wasn't about them knowing, was it? It was about having information that you could use against me, which is about as bad.
You told them about the background thing.
I told the class, not the teachers.
You were okay for a couple of years. You've gone back to being a joke.
It's the lockdown, this Zoom thing.
That's no excuse.
Okay, yes, I'm sorry. I didn't realize.
Thank you.
But that doesn't mean what you did was right.
Already said I'm sorry.
You said sorry because everyone is jumping on me and the teachers forced us to have this conversation. What? Am I lying?
No.
You didn't apologize because you think what you did was wrong. That's not right.
Okay, you're right. What do you want me to do?
That's up to you. I shouldn't have done what I did, and I knew it back then. That's why I was ashamed. You figure out what you want to do. I only have two things to say to you.
What?
Tell your mom what you did.
But that's none of your.
I'm going to tell mine, and I'll ask her to ask your mom. At least I'm giving you a fair warning.
What's the second thing?
I don't know why we have such a problem with each other. I'm not saying all is okay, all is forgiven, all is forgotten, but it's not going to be public anymore. I'll beat you in the exam. Anything else you have to say to me? Send me a letter.
A long time ago, in a letter far, far away, I promised dispatches from the future. So, here they are. It's 2050. We're all in our mid 40s approaching 50. So we're old, but we don't feel old. Some of us are married, some have children. We drive to a 30-year reunion in electric cars and flying buses. Teleportation hasn't been invented yet, but it's close. This school is a gleaming temple of technology. The kids studying there are sending each other messages on some kind of future messaging technology about how two of the students in their class are being fools. There have been 2 more pandemics, but nothing as severe as COVID because we're better prepared now. Salman Khan is still playing college students. The kids in JML think we're all very old, and we're just happy to see each other and laugh about the silly things we did. Happy to see all these faces from our childhood. Happy that everyone is healthy, successful, and busy. It's 2031. Some of us have become doctors and engineers and pilots. Naisha is getting her PhD in chemistry. She now has expert training in blowing things up. Some of the others are writing books and making music and films on their phones, designing clothes and apps and software. We still remember the days in school like they were yesterday. Some are in love, some preparing to get married, some are both. We're starting to worry about our parents and their health now. Our worlds are bigger, our horizons are wider. Sometimes we wish we were still in school because being an adult isn't a lot of fun and also scary and irritating. Many of us joined the reunion on Zoom because we're abroad and studying or working. It's 3 weeks from now, and Sanjana and Naisha have stopped being idiots. It's tomorrow, and I'm going to my friend's house. We've known each other since KG. It'll be the first time I've been to another house since March of last year. It'll be the first time I'll hug someone who's not my family. Well, my biological family.
Between the first and second lockdowns, I shifted to my grandma's place. It's not too far, but she had been on her own, apart from one living helped during the first lockdown. Nothing happened. She was fine all the way through. But I think my parents thought they'd be tempting fate if she was on her own for an extended period, if no one could step out of the house. So the moment it looked there would be a second lockdown, they got better internet and packed me off. I'll be honest, it's not much of a sacrifice. My grandma loves me. We are buddies. She has her own routine, her own hobbies, reading. She's one of those Indian grandmothers who lives to feed people. Every morning, we go through the day's menu. It's all things I want. I had to tell her to stop, but I started putting on some weight. She's also way stricter than my folks when it comes to studies. Makes me log in from the dining room so that she can keep an eye on me. But that's not why I'm writing about her. During the second lockdown, help was allowed to keep coming home. And she has 3 people: the carer who lives with her, a cook, and someone who comes to clean. They're all women, all middle aged, and I spent the last couple of months watching all 4 of them, my grandma included, because this dynamic totally bonkers. Most of the time, it seems like my grandma works for these people. She worries about their happiness much more than anything else. She never issues orders, always a request. Yesterday, the cook refused to let her order 4 kilos of rice, saying she didn't have the space to store it. Like, straight up no. Sometimes they take my grandma off. Sometimes she treats them with kid gloves. And then sometimes she'll yell and they'll quietly take it. She had a slip in the bathroom and the carer wouldn't let me call my mother. But last week, she was feeling a little nauseous and ordered everyone, including me, not to tell my parents. And the lady who cleans the house nodded her head, picked up her phone right in front of my grandma and dialed my mother and made my grandma tell my mother everything right then and there. It's mad. When I asked my grandma, she shrugged. You won't understand, she said. Yeah, my goals. Then she grinned. Also, it passes the time.
To all my classmates, I'm writing to you to apologize about 2 things. As you have learned, I was the one who told Mangla Miss about the copying of maths homework. I'm not proud of it. I did it because I got into a lot of trouble after the paperclip incident. I was almost expelled, so I thought I could win back some goodwill. The thing is, you can't win back goodwill in one shot. You need to earn it back, inch by inch, bit by bit. There's no one single solution. There's no Instagram post that will sort it out. Mangla Miss sat me down after I told her about the copying. She said she understood why I told her. She also said she was disappointed in me, which is why she never told all of you. She told me that I should tell you when I was ready. She needed to make an example of the copying. She did not, however, approve of my behavior. She said she hoped that I'd be able to tell all of you in my own time before we left school. The longer I waited, the more embarrassing it got. I guess I was hoping it would just go away. I'm glad it didn't, because oddly, I feel better about it than I have in 2 years. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for the trouble it caused all of you. I'm sorry to have behaved like a moron. I will understand if you choose to hold it against me. I also wanted to apologize about my conduct in class over the last year. I've been badly behaved because it made me feel better. That's not fair on anyone. So it won't happen again. That's a promise. What happened between Aneri and myself is between the two of us because she was kind enough to make it so. I will remember that and hopefully learn from it. Oh, and Miss, because I know you'll be reading this, I apologize for making fun of letter writing. This is a letter, and I'm glad I can reach out to everyone after having had a chance to think about what I wanted to say and putting it down. So thank you.
I just want to say that I don't think that Standard 3 is a collection of little horrors. They are very sweet little people.
A friend of my mom's came to visit yesterday. There was some very loud, very strange screaming. My mom and a friend hugged. Then they screamed at each other. Then they drank too much wine. When I asked her about it yesterday, she told me that her friend was a lawyer, that she had been a very important, a very fundamental part in several judgments passed by the Bombay High Court over the past 2 years. One was stopping the construction of the Shivaji Memorial, and the other was getting mangroves declared protected forests. Then she looked at me and smiled a kind of evil smile. You keep thinking of superheroes, don't you? Meanwhile, they're all around you. I thought about it. Her friend, doctors and nurses, policemen and police women this past year, all those ladies at Shaheen Bagh. She's right. It's the age of superheroes. We just need to look properly.
I read back my first letter before I sat down to write this one. I still like the letters. I think we should collect them. Maybe we'll read them when we come back for one of the reunions. I just wanted to make a small addition. I kept feeling like that, like I was a rat in a trap, like I was running around in circles in a tiny cage over and over for weeks after that letter. You know what helped? We started a family game of Uno. 1 hour, 7 o'clock in the evening. Sometimes it's Monopoly, sometimes it's Scrabble. Unless there's an emergency, everyone, including our cook and Nani's Aya, has to put away their phones and sit down and play some Uno. What did it change? Nothing. But it helped. I don't know why or how. Such a simple little thing.
I wrote 3 letters, miss. I posted them over a month and a half to a different post office every single time. I heard nothing for over 4 months. Then today. Namaste, Kalpesh Bhaiya. We were very happy to receive your letter. We are very glad that you remember us and asked about how we are. I can see from your letter that you sent this almost 3 months ago. It has just come to us. Maybe the post office had to wait for someone who knew my father by face and name. It has been many years since he lived here. Because of the shortage of workers, it took some time for the right person to read the name and address and understand who it was for. As you can see, I am replying for my father. He can't write. I hope you can understand and read my writing.
I miss being in Bombay, but I'm also happy to be here with my grandparents. Many relatives who are usually working in cities are also here. First, it was fun. The last few months, people have been scared. But we are all still here and all still healthy by the grace of God. I keep trying to practice reading and writing as much as I can. Please thank your mother for the book she gave me, and please convey my regards to your whole family. I hope to see you soon. If you write again, this is our address. I will reply to you as soon as I receive your letter. Thank you for remembering us. God be with you.